Good morning. Look who's here with us today. Yeah, it's the Bella. She'll be leaving though at some point. She goes to uh, doggy training, doggy school on Saturdays these days. Who we got here? We have Cindy King. Good morning. Mashid. Good morning. Diane. Good to see you. Good morning. Cindy, you like my title? Yeah. The book report. Yeah. Oh, Barb, good morning. Good morning. Barb saying hello to everybody here. Good morning, Doug. Good morning. Oh, what a day, what a day, what a day. Saturday. Yeah, it's Saturday. Hey, listen. Um, I know there's only a few of us here, but I'm gonna put it out there anyways. I I got a package 2 days ago. So that would be Thursday. I got a package Thursday night. It came to me by DoorDash. It was a wonderful package. I had no idea it was coming. Oh, good morning, Jesse. Jesse's here. Good morning, Jesse. And Bonnie. Hello, Bonnie. Good morning. Welcome to the group. So here, listen, let me put this out there again. I got a package on Thursday. It's amazing. Do any of you know crumble? Yeah, this is just the outer wrap. There was a dozen cookies in this package. And why am I bringing it up here? Because I have no idea who sent it. If one of you sent it, I would really like to be able to say thank you. The only note on here says, and I'll read it for you, thank you for all your help with our stitching. You could have just sent an invoice. Now, anybody that knows me knows that, there are times I'm not going to send you an invoice. Make an edit, not going to send you an invoice. Changing colors, stops, not going to send you an invoice. So, I know, Cindy, is, it is a really, really sweet gift. Oh my God. I even tried to call our local store and they were not able to find the order, or maybe there was a note that said "Don't tell." I don't know. I can't find it. Um, but yeah, I've been on a sugar buzz for the last 2-3 days. Oh yeah, good stuff. Huge, huge cookies. Oh my god. I had to hide them. I'm sharing with my husband. I really am. I'm sharing with my husband, but if he knew where they were, they'd already be gone. Uh, but we split a cookie. So I know, Cindy, it was very nice. And honestly, I have no clue where they came from. The only thing I know for sure is it has to be somebody I've done work for, whether it be production or digitizing. It's somebody that knows where I live. That's all I got. I know it's a small group, but that's all I got. So, anyways, now that we're done with Crumble, of course, I'm not done with Crumble. Oh my God, amazing, amazing. If you guys ever get a chance to have one of their cookies, you should have one of their cookies or their brownies. Oh my God, there were brownies in here too. Okay. So today, oh, see, here she goes. She wants to go. And she jumps. So today, we are going to do a book report. Of course, I wrote out a book report, but who wants to who wants to sit and just read a book report? I could stand up in front of the class. Do you want me to? Never mind. You are so right. That knows, and not just cookies, but anything sweet. Oh my God. Like I said, I've been on a sugar buzz for 3 days. Okay, so this book has been kind of the talk of the town all week. Um, at Impressions Long Beach, Bonnie Nielsen, she is the author of this book, taught a class with some of our favorite nerds. I know, I refer to those guys all the time. Some of our favorite nerds. And she is an amazing, amazing puncher. I use the word punch because back in the day, the technique was called punching. And that was based on how designs were created. Back in the day when all of this was before computers, everything was manually punched. They would have, I don't have the correct terms, a drawing board where the image that they were punching was 600% larger. And then with ruler and writing device, they would manually place where every needle penetration had to go. And what happened is that information was then punched onto um, a tape. It was a paper tape that had a bunch of holes in it. I don't know. You may be familiar with what I'm talking about, but yeah, it just, and then that's what was put in the machine, and the machine would then follow directions on the punch tape. It used to be that it would take a dozen people hours and hours and hours and hours just to create a basic left chest company logo. That's not the case anymore. And that's not the case because over time, computer software was developed. Now, what used to take, was speculating, a week for somebody to create a left chest logo, you and I can create that in a matter of hours or less. Um, and that all comes down to the software. So, Bonnie Nielsen is a puncher. She's been doing this for a long, long time. Those of you that have this book, oh my goodness, you are so right, Cindy. Thank goodness for technology. If it weren't for technology, I would probably still be working in a QB firm processing medical insurance claims. Yeah, that was my life. That was my life before. So, going back to the book. This is the book we're talking about today. This is the book. It's titled Punch, Digitizing for Embroidery Design. I gotta move this thing. I wonder if it will let me move it. Nope. I'll have to move it some other time. Punch, Digitizing for Embroidery Design by Bonnie Nielsen. She wrote this book. This book was published, let me just double check, 2010. So that makes the book 15 years, right? Did I get that right? My math is terrible these days. But yeah, 2010. Oh, Barb's got a comment here. Years ago and far away, backups were done on tape with holes punched. I did this for Colbot. Really? Really? So Barb is very familiar with computer tape or tape paper tape. Barb, you're going to love this book. So, for those of you who have the book, I want to strongly encourage you to read the biography and the introduction. I know they're small. A lot of us, when we get a book, we just kind of bypass all that and go straight to chapter one. But take a moment, read it. It's very interesting, her history. She has, in her career, she's done work for companies, and I'm reading this right out of the book. DreamWorks, we all know who DreamWorks is. Caterpillar, Pepsi-Cola, um, Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, she's done some work for some high-profile people. Um, and her book it's very detailed. I want to I want to see if I can find it. Her book. Yeah, this is just a sample. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. This is a section on cornering. Her book not only gives us a drawn demonstration of what the stitch looked like, it also shows an actual stitch out. And I tell you, I wish a lot of operators, machine operators, would see this. I don't know about you, but I get a lot of people that come back and say, you know, I'm stitching and my edges are not sharp. My edges are not straight. They go back and forth. Professional digitizer, long term, uh, internationally known, and are her edges are jaggy across. And why is that? That's the fabric, people. That's the fabric. It is not the digitizing. Sorry, had to push that in there. One of her first chapters talks about software. And of course, she's going to talk about software. And one of the things that she says in here is that your software just needs three basic stitch types. It needs a running stitch. It needs a satin column. It needs, um, excuse me, it needs a fill stitch. With those three stitches, you can digitize all of your graphics. Now, of course, the more sophisticated the software, the more built-in tools there are for things like patterns, and she calls them um, macros. We call them motifs. So yeah, the more modern the software, the more built-in tools there are, the easier it is to use the software. Yes, Barb. She was on the Nerds doing a live interview on the needle bar. I'm going to link that on my YouTube in the comments on my YouTube, so that you can all jump over there and take a watch if you haven't seen it yet. Uh, what else is in this book that's amazing? This book is so. Let's step back a moment for software. I want to tell you that back when I first started, back when I first started, my first software was a free software provided by Stitch Era. I think that was the name of it, Stitch Era. And that's all it had: running stitch, satin column, fill stitches. No bells and whistles, no extras. I could, change directions, um, change densities, change underlays, but it was very basic. I want to suggest that you find a software for yourself. If you haven't already, you find a software for yourself that they all have those three stitches. But, depending on your budget and what you're looking for, find a software, but find a software that has training. The one thing that this Stitch Era software did not have was training. Now, keep in mind, this was years ago, and yes, YouTube was out there, but there was YouTube. It's like the Library of Congress now. You have everything in there, including the kitchen sink, and that was not the case 12, 13, 14 years ago. So, yes, YouTube can be a good source for training, but find a software that has real people training. For example, I know in Brilliance, Lisa Shaw. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. How many? There are many people that teach in Brilliant software, and they do a very, very fine job. Um, that's it. Barb, that's it. The software I had was Sierra Stitch Era software. Came with her advanced multi-needle. She uses Wilcom for the most part. Yeah, this Sierra, it was, like I said, 100 years ago. Um, it was a download. It had to be downloaded from a dealer's website, and that's where I found it. And if the dealer lost if the dealer lost their dealership, the software was no longer supported. It was not available. Good morning, Letty. It's good to see you. Oh my goodness. Letty's book just got in. She's so excited she can't wait to open it up. So, software. Find a software that comes with training. Now, she does talk about several different softwares in here, or not several different softwares, but she has. Oh, Jesse put out a question here. I want to pull that out. Jesse wants to know if anybody is using Wilcom 25. I am. I got it. I like it. Barb says she thinks the software, Stitch Era software, is out of Brazil now. Sorry, I'm scrolling. Jesse, I did a coffee and conversation on Wilcom 2025. If you want to go back and look at it, it just touches on some of the changes that I saw, and the fact that if you're already using a Wilcom uh, 4.58 or 4.8, if you're already using Wilcom or Design digital edition, there really isn't any need to upgrade to 2025. You can, you can, but it's really not that important. There's a lot of functions the other softwares have that are still carried over. Yes, there's some new stuff, but it's not critical to your day-to-day digitizing. Keep that in mind. They did all of that for a buck, one at 1,000 stitches. That You're funny. That was Letty. Okay, so back to our book. So yeah, so the first chapters are talking about software and equipment. The machine, the needles, the bobbin case, different things in equipment, and then she gets into the artwork. Hey, Pam. Oh, Pam has. It came with her brother 10 needle. She has PE Design 10 and she has no idea how to use it and would love some help in learning that. We need to find you, Pam. Did your dealership come with any kind of in-person classes? Check with them first. Um, and then, send me a message. Maybe I can help you find uh, maybe I can help you find some help with that. So now, after the first couple of chapters, chapter 3, we start to get into some of the good stuff. This is the artwork. She's talking about the artwork in this chapter. Um, Using digital artwork, graphics, and talking about raster versus vector files and why one is better than the other, and the DPI dots. Is that dots? What is DPI? What does DPI stand for? I just had that in my head. DPI stands for dots per inch. How simple was that? DPI, dots per inch. Pam says, nope, it's been several years. Just use it to print my designs out for my snowman placement. Dots per inch. Thank you, Bonnie. Bonnie, now that you're here, you're going to find that I do have a tendency to stutter and drop things. And that goes back to some history. Letty's going back and reading. She found the comment from Barb about punching and was telling Barb that she created punch cards for the local Votech students. All right. Sorry, people. I'm just kind of scrolling here. You're all so smart. You're all so smart. Um, so yeah, dots per inch. If you're going to send a graphic to a digitizer, 300 DPI and up will give you. Uh, Evelyn's here. Hey, Evelyn. Thank you, Cindy. DPI 300 and up will give you a better image to work from. When a digitizer gets your graphic and we're going to enlarge it on our screen. You may only want a 4-inch graphic, but we're going to enlarge it on our screen. And by the time we get done, it's going to look like it's 12 inches on the screen. Am I still here? Say hi, people. That's okay, Pam. This is a book. It's called Punch. This is actually a very good book, Pam. This book, it, it won't teach you It won't teach you how to use the tools in your software, but it will teach you embroidery theory, which is very, very important. Push, pull, how to lay your stitches in, um, different thread types. What about underlays, gradients, how to create fonts. Thank you. So if you're interested, Pam, there is going to be a link on my YouTube channel underneath in the description area of this broadcast. Sorry, I lost my place. She talks about God, I did too, didn't I? I'm terrible. Oh, graphics, DPI. More dots per inch, the better the graphic is for the digitizer. They can enlarge it and they can digitize and they can see those edges. Yes, some of those edges, if you're sending over a raster file versus a vector file, some of those edges are going to be jagged, but they'll have a better look. They'll have a better line to work from, which is very important. Remember, a digitizer can only digitize what they can see. Um, so if you send a graphic If you send a mock-up graphic that has a man standing there with his shirt on and it's got this, left chest logo, and you send that to the digitizer because you want them to digitize that left chest logo, if they go to enlarge that left chest logo so that they can see it, it's going to be so blurry they're not going to be able to make it out. So mock-ups are great for you and your clients, you and your customers, but not so great for the digitizer. So anyways, that's graphics. But this book, what else does it have in here? Again, here's a good one. Gotta move that name. On this page, for those of you, page 109, she's got circles here. And what she's talking about here is your start and stop placement. You know those design files that you have that have lots of shapes, lots of ins and outs and ups and downs, and your start and stop, and then there's that line, that stitch line that's in the middle, and you can't get rid of it. That's from the start and stop. That's an overlap that happens because your design file is going to stitch this way, and then because it needs to stop right here, but it has all of this over here yet to do, it's going to travel all the way over here, and then it's going to stitch this way. And when it meets in the middle, it's going to overlap by 1 or 2 stitches so as not to have a gap. Now, sometimes you can move your starts and stops and change your angles and get rid of that. But if you have a lot of cuts and back and forth, sometimes you just can't get rid of it. Let's see. Oh, and if it is a picture on a person, it will definitely be out of proportion or distorted. Yes, Gina, exactly. Exactly. Um, okay, so there's really, really, really a lot of good and amazing work here. What do I want to do next? She talks about how to create lettering. And I know that we did some talk about lettering, teeny tiny under 3mm lettering that she taught us at Long Beach, Impressions Expo Long Beach. But this book goes into more detail about creating all kinds of lettering and why the spacing, the spacing is important and where the trims need to be, and letters without closest point. This is, I've had, okay, I confess, this is copy number 2 of this book, and I did that for a very good reason. My original copy, I took to Long Beach with me, and Bonnie autographed it, and I really don't want to make notes in that book. I bought this book so that I can write notes as I go, so that I can reference back to it anytime I need it. Oh. I'm not suggesting that everybody go out and buy 2 copies of this book, but I did, and of course I also did it to support my friends at the nerd team. Okay. Is there anything regarding this book that you want me to cover? Is there anything, do you have a question about, ask me, is this covered in the book? And I will find it for you. We're coming up to the end of our time, but I want to give you guys a chance to ask some questions. The embroidery nerds were so impressed with Bonnie at Impressions. And after looking at their book, and finding out that there was no American distributor anymore. It used to be sold by Madeira, but it's not anymore. You can find it on eBay, and yes, with shipping, Cindy, your book was $80, and they do have it in stock immediately, which is where I'm going. They were so impressed with this book. They were so it was concerning that a wonderful resource like this was not available to American readers, American punchers. So they made the investment and purchased 100 copies that, again, limited quantity, um, that they have now made available to the American punchers, American digitizers, and some out of country digitizers. Um, but yes, the book is in stock. It is available. If you go, Cindy is absolutely right. Um, she's talking about the price of the book. If you go on, and you can't even get it on Amazon anymore. Do, do, do. Let's see, where else is it available? The Embroidery Nerds, of course. Goodreads. Let's see what Goodreads has got. Yeah, it's not available. It's not available anywhere. And the one thing I want to caution you is that once all the published books have been sold, it's not going to be republished. There's not going to be a second edition or a second printing. So if you want this book, you need to get it. I'm not saying it's going to sell out in a week, but if you're interested, reach out and see if it's still available. I know that this is a recording and it's going to be there for a while, so um, hopefully, if you can't get it, if the link, years down the road is no longer there, do a Google search or Punch by Bonnie Nielsen. And I think that's all I got. What have we got here? The author, oh, here, yep. And again, on the description area of my YouTube channel of this broadcast, there's also a link that takes you to the interview. And yes, Evelyn, her husband did help translate it to German for her because English is her first language. She is an American that has um, moved to Germany, as she put it, the things you do for love. And her husband did help her translate. And it helps that her husband is also part of the industry. So he had knowledge and was able to translate it, the theory and the information, so that it was um, understood. Oops, where'd we go? Okay, well, people. So next week, okay, so just to give you a heads up for the next couple of weeks. Next week, we're going to do our final segment, a recap of the embroiderer's toolkit that the class I took, the workshop I took at uh, Impressions Expo Long Beach. That one was presented by Eric Campbell, another name that a lot of us here know. And we're going to talk about what his presentation was and his educational resources. He also has a video broadcast that he does, the Take Up. and he's got over 200 episodes, and he is an amazing digitizer and provides amazing detail and information. So we're going to feature him next week, and we're going to keep our fingers crossed here. Fingers crossed. Uh, we had a request from Barb. Barb is looking for information. She's looking for a how to create. You're welcome, everybody. Who was that? Evelyn. Are you watching me on TV? I'm usually just on a computer monitor. But, anyways, Barb has asked to a demonstration. She wants a class. She wants a coffee and conversation on how to cut out um, a double layered, like athletic logo using the laser and double layered applique using the laser. So we're going to do that hopefully in a couple of weeks, and Eric next week, and week after that we're going to focus on cutting some fabric for Barb. And if you guys ever have anything a 70 Evelyn's got me on a 70-inch television. Oh my God, you can see everything, can't you? Tackle twill, kiss cut. Yes. All right. Yes, the kiss cut. All right, we're gonna have to work on that one. But yeah, we're gonna do that in a couple of weeks. Keep your fingers crossed. Why do I do that? Keep your fingers crossed. And I'm gonna say goodbye. You guys have a great weekend. Have a great week. We'll see you. We'll see you next week. Don't forget, if you have anything you want me to cover, just pop me off a message. I'm always around. Fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business.